you cannot handle real work, reality talk, 80+ language, simply skip the video.
Thursday, day 56. Can you imagine? And you know what? If you watch this or watch my vlog for the first time, my name is Dahlan Baron. I'm 46 years old and I'm pushing it every day. So I'm now doing a little clean up my mind walk, but also calisthenics. And I'm at this moment, I'm not 100% sure if I can even do it. And the past 72 hours, yeah, let's say maybe even 4 days, I slept. Last night I slept 6 hours, but the previous days max 3 hours. And you know, that always bites me a little bit in the ass. For example, now if I don't keep on moving, I would fall asleep. But you know, why am I sharing this? Well, if you're in a position of, you know, sometimes that you want to give up and or exhausted, you know, I'm always using this mental thing, what if? You know, what if I, you know, couldn't walk? You know, then I had to stay wherever I have to stay. Or of course I will figure something out, but the thing is, I can walk, so I should walk. And, you know, many times, pretty much every day I'm exhausting myself, every single day, if I really think about it, mentally and physically. And probably this night I will do a long nap. But now, walking slowly to the calisthenic spot, and in the meantime I'm showing you the beautiful environment. And now the weather starts to get very good, so later on I'm going to the stadium over here, to the recovery stadium over here now, in the park next to, I think the name of this park is Park Kneževo. It's a little bit a tongue breaker, but I think it's Kneževo in Sofia. And you know, this is the thing about Sofia, everything is pretty much, yeah, I would say in a 15-minute reach. You know, center, incredibly busy, boom, now you're in the freaking forest. And then 10 minutes, 15 minutes later you can be in an overcrowded mall if you want. And not only in the mall, you can go to train in the stadium, which I will do later on. But first I need a little bit peace over here, reset, because in the coffee stadium now I think there's also some kind of holiday coming up, so it's gonna be busy, which means yeah, I will bump into people, which means talking, and I want to share something. What I'm always doing, and that's already a part of me, like I said, you know, when you implement habits in your life, like 2 days ago I said something, somebody made me aware of the fact that I'm always greeting also animals. Totally wasn't aware of it anymore. But there's another thing what I'm doing multiple times per day. For example, now that I walk like this, or I walk in the center and I don't do my video calls, I always have it, I call it a walk of gratitude, you know. And just sometimes I also say it out loud. Maybe people think I'm a lunatic or something, but that makes me always feel very good no matter the circumstances. So what I'm always doing, let's do an example. You know, I think about all my body parts that are properly working, you know. Very grateful for that. Grateful for my knees, grateful for my toes, grateful, you know. That's also something. When everything functions good, you're not very aware of it, but the moment that you would be in pain or you hurt, and let's say you got a broken toe, then all of a sudden you understand how important it actually is that toes are working without pain. And tiny things, very tiny things. And I appreciate everything. Everything when it's totally functioning right, but also when it goes bananas. I'm still always grateful for the fact that I do have the mental resilience just to keep on walking. That's also something, huh? Because I'm used to pretty extreme situations. So when I'm not in those extreme situations, then I still exhaust myself every single day. Everything is always a little bit over the top. And when I say everything, everything. And everything in the end, you know, is mental. It's really mental. You know, also when you're tired, your body feels tired. Well, you know, if I would compare it with the days that I used boatloads of drugs, you know, I stayed awake for days. And I'm not gonna mention the exact amount of days, because then you would think, nah, that is totally exaggerated. So let's don't get into that. But even when I stayed awake for, you know, on the fourth day, you know, your mind starts playing tricks with you. You know, you hear things that are not over there. You start seeing shadows moving. You know what the deal is, right? And if not, see, that learned me a couple of things. First of all, don't do drugs. But second of all, and your body, it was still functioning. My mind, you're very close. You know, when your mind is going with all kind of thoughts, I was always observing those thoughts. You know, like an observer. You know, I was always, and still I am, always observing my own thoughts to see where it can improve. But also when your thoughts go totally bananas, and also let's say for the people who are normal, thinking that they're drowning in their thoughts, just start swimming and observe and look down, you know, in the water, that those are your thoughts. You swim in your thoughts, don't drown in it. And when you drown in your thoughts, I like to go training or walk. And if you cannot walk, well, then you're probably in a wheelchair or some other things, or maybe you're in a hospital bed if you're watching this, you know. Little silence. Whoa. I see, and that's also some. When I feel tired now, and I would think about those people in the beds, you know, in the hospital beds, then I think those people would pay probably any kind of amount of money that they still have in their bank accounts or whatever to do maybe a 1 hour walk, right? So that's why I always think, what if, you know, what if I would be sick, you know, in a hospital? You know, I've been in the hospital multiple times, here and there, a little bit an operation thing, on my wiener also once. Anyway, different topic. But you know, once there is pain in a specific part of your body, you really, you know, you want that the pain is going away, and in the meantime you're wrestling with your thoughts, you know. I wish I never happened, you know. And that's the thing about health. And sometimes, or many times, I don't want to train, but I think about those times that I was sick, you know, when I was young. Many times I was sick. A lot of things, but you know, I don't want to. So for example, if I wouldn't train, let's say that I stopped training now, and then after maybe 5 years already, I end up in the hospital. All kind of stuff is going on. Things are not functioning right. You know, I can feel that moment. You know, like that I would regret. I wish I would done this. I wish. No. that thought always also keeps me going. You know, what if? What if you would lay down in a bed and you say, yeah, I could have spent 1 hour of training. You know, I could have spent 1 hour per day instead of watching television. And another thing, you know, for all the people who are scrolling mindless on their telephone, you know, when you and really think about this, and this the reason of my vlogs, I want to share the strategies that I'm using to automate and to actually make a living from only my phone, which I'm doing now, right? That's why I can be everywhere. And I also gave it a little bit of comparison, you know, when it's a phone versus the laptop. Well, my mind is constantly busy, and for this I want to work whenever I think and also wherever I want. So, for example, if I'm in the bus, tram, taxi, I can work. I don't have to put a laptop in my lap. So more mobile, more faster, spitting out ideas, sharing ideas, discussing ideas, executing on ideas, firing up processes, you know, because that is freedom. And I, at the moment, more than 1.5 years, I think I only use now the phone, and it is possible. And let's go back to the talk about the people who are scrolling. So let's pretend that you do 3 or maybe 5 hours a day, because I talked once with a guy, he said, actually I'm doing 5 hours a day until I fall asleep. Well, you know, let's say you do 5 hours a day, that is 35 hours a week. Can you imagine what you could have done? And then did you end up in a hospital or whatever, and then you think, well, let's see, what have I done the past 10 years? 35 hours per week scrolling, consuming other people their content. And by the way, consuming content, you know, follow, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Would help me out a little bit, maybe also motivate me a little bit. But in the end, I'm also doing this for myself, to improve my speaking, maybe my physical appearances, and I don't know what. It's good for me also. Me. No, I'm far from a selfish SOB, but you know, anyway, I have to keep a little bit of moving because now it's getting busy. So I think I'm going to the stadium. I don't know. I'm a little bit maybe exhausted also. But like I said, what if, you know, wishing in a hospital bed that I could do this walk, and I wouldn't even think about to sleep. I would enjoy every single second. So switch the mindset, people. You don't want to do it, just do it. Just do it. Bold. Just do it. What if you couldn't do it? Now let's say it like this. Perhaps most of the people who are watching, you still do have a choice, you know, that you can actually do it, but you don't want to do it because you think you got enough time, you think you got this and this. You know, it can also be over in a finger snap, everything. Anyway, I have to train to clean my head. Oh, the people are not following me. Following me, I mean. Let me show you a little bit the environment, and then I'm going to train a little bit, or maybe sit and work. I want to work a little bit from here. Look at this. Now, this is a beautiful area, location. Also, this one is on my Google Maps thing. It reached over 3 million views over there. You know, I think it's nice. So follow me over there, and you can see all the nice calisthenic spots. All of them. The Sophia. No, not all of them, because every time I'm still discovering a lot of different spots. So now let's shut up and train a little bit. Just over here, I actually did way more than I was planning to do. And before I actually went over here, as I said in the previous clip, that I was at the point of simply finito, you know. But I feel good now, very good, and I am really going to sleep this night. I'm planning it now, so I'm focusing on a good night's sleep. I would go 11 o'clock to bed and normal time getting up. That's what I want. So from 11 to 5:15, then I'm optimal. And yeah, you know, I did, when I have those times that I really don't want to, or maybe physical think that I think that I can not do it physically, and then a little bit that extra to find that point where you get dizzy, you know. By the way, what I also do to shape up my calves, and I did a lot of forward lunges, very deep ones, but I also do backwards walking up the hill. And if you don't have hills, use the stairs, you know. And then a good amount of backward steps shapes up the legs in a, I think, in a proportional way. You know, I like to be proportional and, let's say, an aesthetic physique, because I'm 174, 1 meter 74. I don't know what it is in inches. I know that 40% of the people are watching from the USA, so it's in inches. I don't know, but you know, for a guy of my size, it wouldn't look good if I'm, you know, with those huge shoulders. You know, I think you should be at least, you know, 185. That is if I would be 185, I would go to the gym also, just to bulk up, you know, look like a Hulk. But if I would be now, then I'm a mini Hulk, you know, and I don't feel comfortable with that. The heaviest I ever reached, I think I was 89 kilos, but I didn't feel very good, because I like also to do the runs, you know, around the 10 kilometer. And when it's about runs, the longest I ever did was around 34 kilometers. Well, you know, and then I think about those people who do 100 kilometers, or probably even more. I'm not up to date about those things, but 100 kilometers, poof, I don't know. I also wouldn't know how to prepare for that. I'm also not going into it, but you know, 100 kilometers, and that is respect. Because for me, around the 22 kilometers, I remember as the day, like yesterday, my mind went totally blank, and I actually thought that I could run with my eyes closed and just half sleeping. A very weird feeling, and you know, and then I was thinking, those people, no, not at that time, but afterwards I was thinking, you know, those people do 100 kilometers, and probably even more. Respect, huh? I also don't know what kind of level those people are, you know, with mentally, what kind of stages, you know, you go to multiple stages, and where you just also go blank or something. I wouldn't know. I didn't deep dive in that subject, because it's not very relevant to me, but I'm interested in it. You know, people, if you do 50 plus kilometers, is also insane, man. But yeah, I'm also training every day this. Maybe that's also part of the something. And perhaps also my daily beer consumption is also not contributing to let's say, training for the 100 kilometers. But yeah, and I'm doing it for my mental and a little bit of physical appearance, that it looks reasonable. So, but anyway, I'm walking in between somewhere, just to avoid a little bit people, because I saw people coming. Let me show you a little bit around. Alright? Oh. Look, in the middle of the forest. And within 5 minutes I will be going to another place. I need to shake very quickly some hands, just an introduction, just to say hello. Ow, no, not ow. And then I want to go to work a little bit from the phone, from the Rakowski Stadium, and then let's see. Ciao for now.